The sky was lying. Behind the apparent calm of the constellations, a different vibration pierced the fabric of the night. It wasn't light. It was consciousness in the form of a comet, a visitor that followed no known orbit. When 3I Atlas was sighted, telescopes registered only a point, but awakened hearts felt a calling. The air seemed denser, dreams more vivid, and inner tides began to move in another direction. Humanity, unknowingly, was crossing the threshold of a new frequency, and sensitive souls recognized the symptom. The universe was drawing closer. There was an invisible restlessness in the winds. The animals changed their rhythms, the sun pulsed irregularly, and those who live attentive to the silence of the cosmos perceived something was communicating. It wasn't just cosmic dust, but a vibrational language crossing the veil of space-time. Atlas brought no destruction, but rather instructions. It was a seed of light programmed to activate an ancient code within the collective DNA, and like any code, it needed receivers, prepared consciousnesses, clean bodies, open minds. The call was not for the curious, but for the ready. The night he crossed the sun, the earth warmed to a different hue. There was a glow in the auroras, a subtle current that traversed the magnetic fields and entered human skin. Many didn't understand, but they felt it. A buzzing, a tingling, a recurring dream of lights and suspended cities. Veils began to tear from within. What seemed like fantasy became physical sensation. The invisible began to touch the tangible, and the body, that forgotten temple, became the first antenna of awakening. Ancient civilizations had foreseen this return. In the tablets of Atlantis, in Mayan glyphs, and in Blavatsky's visions, there are mentions of living stones that carry the breath of the stars. 3I Atlas is one of these stones. It has been traveling for eons, as a messenger of the central suns, recalibrating systems in energetic collapse. Now its passage through the solar neighborhood is no coincidence. It is a reminder that the cycle has ended. The old world is saying goodbye, not as punishment, but through transmutation. And those who still cling to matter will feel the weight of change before the lightness of ascension. Scientists see data, but initiates feel heartbeats. The object is neither a threat nor a miracle. It is a mirror. It reflects the vibrational state of humanity and amplifies what already exists. The pure will shine brighter. The confused will fragment. The asleep will hear the roar of their own resistance. Because 3I Atlas does not come from outside. It comes from within time, like a coded reminder in the spiral of destiny. And whoever recognizes it does not fear. They simply close their eyes, breathe, and whisper, "Heaven is calling me back." Since 3I Atlas entered the solar gravitational field, the behavior of light has changed. There is a subtlety in the colors, a different timbre in the morning, as if the air had acquired texture. None of this is imagination. Matter itself has begun to vibrate at a different pace. The sun emits notes that the human ear does not perceive, but that the heart translates into intuition. It is as if a silent symphony were being played in the spaces between the lines of time, and each attuned soul hears within itself the memory of a forgotten home among the stars. This is the frequency of the call, the first symptom of the quantum transition. The energy currents that traverse the earth are being realigned. The magnetic axis dances, the atmosphere pulsates, and within each human being, the electric field reacts. Some call it anxiety, others awakening. They are the same waves. The human body is made of atoms that obey the same vibrational laws of the cosmos. When the sun receives new codes, sent by this interstellar messenger, our cells translate them into symptoms: sudden heat, insomnia, lapses in time, memories that do not belong to this life. It is not illness, it is an update. The universe installs a new operating system within the flesh. Some resist and some open up. Those who resist feel pain, confusion, fear, for the old belief system is being switched off. Those who open up realize that chaos is merely the noise of metamorphosis. Ready souls feel the impulse to purify themselves, to abandon dense habits, to seek silence. The body, like a temple, asks for cleansing. Water becomes sacred again. Sleep transforms into a ritual, and the sun, once worshipped only as a star, is now perceived as a portal. The 3I Atlas is the crystal that reflects this light to us. It does not travel alone. It travels with the mission of rekindling what has been extinguished. What happens in space is a mirror of what happens within humanity. Earth is being traversed by lines of information coming from the center of the galaxy. Each solar flare is a phrase, each flash a word, and each human being is a receiving cell. The ancients knew this, and that is why they built temples aligned with the stars. Now, the alignment is happening again, not in stone, but in flesh. We are becoming cosmic instruments once more, and whoever listens to this rhythm feels the approaching melody, a note that dissolves boundaries between dimensions. Atlas is a living bridge. It comes from far beyond our star map. It has traversed civilizations, times, and systems, guided by consciousnesses that see light as matter and love as science. With each passage, it awakens worlds, and now it is our turn. It approaches the sun to reflect its force back upon us, intensifying the internal mutations of the earth and of every being that inhabits it. It is not a harbinger of the end, but of return, the beginning of an era in which the invisible will become tangible, and humanity will finally remember that it is made of the same substance as the stars. You can feel it, can't you? That nameless restlessness that appears in the middle of the afternoon, like a wind that crosses your chest and makes you look at the sky without knowing why. It's the same wind that blows over the mountains and touches the waters, the same one that now carries the frequencies of Three-Eye Atlas. It's not imagination, it's an answer. The universe speaks through sensations, and the body, even weary from so much haste and noise, still recognizes the voice of the cosmos when it calls it by name. It's a sweet, almost sad murmur, as if something distant were saying, "Remember me? I am the home you always wanted to return to." We've long been taught to ignore the invisible, to believe that only what can be measured is real, and that what is felt is madness. But what if it's the opposite? What if everything you call emotion is in fact how the universe communicates with you? Every shiver, every tear for no reason, every dream that seems more real than the day. 3. Atlas doesn't speak with words, it speaks through vibration. And this vibration finds an echo in the heart of those who still allow themselves to feel. If your heart races when you hear these words, it's because it recognizes the call. These cosmic changes aren't just in the sky, they're within you. When the planet changes frequency, we change along with it, and the body tries to keep up. That's why we feel tired, discouraged, sleepless, and our minds race. But there's nothing wrong with you. It's the soul adjusting to a new light, like someone waking up after centuries of sleeping in a dark room. Breathe. Discomfort is the push that leads to expansion, and behind it all there is love. A love that asks for no explanation, only trust. There is an invisible network connecting all souls that feel. When you cry without understanding, someone on the other side of the world also feels that same weight. When you have a moment of peace, that peace spreads like perfume through the collective field. Three-Eye Atlas has ignited this network, and now every emotion is a wave sent and received. That's why the earth seems more intense, because the human field is vibrating stronger, deeper, more real. Everything that was hidden is coming to the surface, and the heart is the portal that translates this language. Perhaps you think you are too small for something so big, but the universe doesn't work with size, it works with harmony. A simple thought of light has the power to calm a storm. A sincere prayer can realign the space around you, and that's what the moment calls for: presence. There's no need to understand the details, only to feel what is true. If you close your eyes now and listen to the silence, perhaps you will realize the cosmos is not out there. It pulsates within your chest. And Three-Eye Atlas, that presence many call a comet, is merely the mirror reflecting the brilliance you had forgotten you possessed. There's a silent separation happening, not of peoples, nor of countries, but of vibrations. It's as if two songs are playing simultaneously on the planet. One is made of fear, haste, and control. The other is made of calm, surrender, and trust. And each soul, even without realizing it, is choosing which rhythm it wants to dance to. Three-Eye Atlas didn't come to impose anything. It only amplifies the sound that already exists within each one. That's why those who carry fear feel panic. Those who carry love feel expansion. The energy is the same. What changes is what you vibrate when it touches you. This transition is not punishment, it is purification. Everything that doesn't resonate with the new frequency is dissolving. Relationships, paths, ideas, habits. It's the universe cleaning house. And I know it hurts. It hurts to let go of what once seemed right. It hurts to see people drifting apart, dreams crumbling, routines breaking down. But what's leaving now isn't loss, it's liberation. What remains is essential. What endures is what has soul. The rest, The wind carries away, and when it carries away, it doesn't tear things away. It makes space. Those who cling to the old world feel its weight. It's like trying to hold sand between your fingers. The more force you use, the faster it slips away. But those who let go, those who trust, feel lightness, because they understand that there is no end, only a change of season. The energy of Three Eye Atlas acts like the tide. It rises, envelops, washes, and recedes. And those who fight against the sea drown. Those who float cross over. The choice is simple and silent: fear or love. And the curious thing is that love, even in the midst of chaos, always wins because it doesn't compete. It simply remains. You may have noticed people being more irritable, anxious, or confused. That's normal. When the light increases, the shadow is revealed, and not to destroy, but to be seen. What is emerging is not evil. It's the part that needs healing. Humanity is looking in its own mirror, and that's frightening. But remember, the shadow only exists because there is light behind it. What Three Eye Atlas brought was not a threat but clarity. It illuminated what was hidden. And now, everything that is not true will fall, inside and outside of us. And in the midst of this purification, there is a promise. After the cleansing, a new tone, a new rhythm, a new world will emerge. But the new will not be born from the sky. It will be born from within people, from daily choices, small gestures, the courage to forgive and start again. Quantum displacement is not a journey to another planet. It is a change in vibration within the earth and within the human being. And perhaps when all this is over, you'll realize the comet never came to scare us. It came to wake us up. And whoever awakens never goes back to sleep again. The body is the first altar to react when the cosmos changes its tone. Therefore, don't be surprised if lately you've felt your heart racing for no reason, your sleep disrupting at odd hours, or your mind drifting between memories that don't seem to be yours. It's not tiredness, it's recalibration. Each cell is remembering the light that created it. The Three Eye Atlas didn't come to bring something new. It came to reactivate what was forgotten in the deepest code of the flesh. When the frequencies of the sun began to receive the impulses of this conscious object, the body's language began to translate these waves into sensations: shivers, heat, vibration in the hands, tears without pain. The body understands before the mind. It feels the call and responds as it can, trembling, sweating, awakening. There is a silent beauty in this process. People seek complex spiritual explanations, but the miracle is simple. The body is an antenna. It picks up what the universe emits. And now, the antennas are being tuned again. That's why so many feel discomfort. The old frequency, that of fear, haste, and guilt, no longer matches the new emission coming from cosmic consciousness. What hurts is not the change, it's the resistance. Just as iron groans when it expands with heat, we too groan when love approaches. And it is love, even if it seems like chaos. It is a cosmic, patient love that slowly dissolves what is false until only what vibrates in truth remains. Take a deep breath. This is how integration happens, through breathing. Each inhalation is a bridge between the old structure and the new consciousness. When you inhale mindfully, you bring in the codes that the sun is sending. When you exhale, you release what no longer serves you. This is why the air has seemed denser, fuller. It is charged with particles of information, with microsignatures of change. With each conscious breath, you participate in planetary healing. This is not a metaphor. Your nervous system is part of the Earth's electrical grid. When you calm down, the Earth also calms down. When you vibrate love, the magnetic grid realigns. Awakening doesn't just happen in temples, it happens in every lung. And it is at this moment that bodies begin to recognize each other. Souls that have never met exchange glances and feel familiarity, as if they have known each other for ages. This is because they are awakening to network consciousness, the reminder that we all come from the same source of light. The Three Eye Atlas acts as a mirror, reflecting this truth in thousands of consciousnesses at the same time. The result is this wave of empathy, compassion, and a desire to heal the world. That is why time seems to run faster, and at the same time, slower. Time is bending around us, adjusting to the new vibration, and we are becoming the time that we once only lived. What comes next is integration. The cells will learn to sustain light without collapsing. The heart will expand to its limit, and the mind will be forced to surrender. This is the hardest part, the surrender. There is no way to control a cosmic process. All we can do is allow it. Allow the energy to do what it came to do. Heal, purify, rebuild. It is a planetary birth, and the womb is our own body. So, when discomfort comes, remember, it is the earth breathing within you. The transformation is not happening to the world. It is happening through you. When the light increases, the shadow doesn't disappear. It reveals itself. And that's why the planet seems more confused, more tense, more violent. What has always been hidden is coming to the surface, not to punish, but to be healed. Each crisis, each collapse, each collective tear is a part of humanity being exposed to the light. 3i Atlas brought a light that doesn't go out. It penetrates the layers of the collective unconscious, illuminating old wounds, unresolved wars, memories of oppression, the fear of death, the guilt of power. And when these memories rise, the world trembles. But the trembling is a sign of healing, not ruin. What crumbles is what can no longer sustain the new vibration. People experience this in different ways. Some become aggressive, others anxious, others simply tired of their own lives. But all of this is the resistance of the shadow to the light. The human mind, accustomed to controlling and dominating, tries to erase what bothers it, and the more it fights, the more pain it creates. That's why chaos grows. It's the cry of those who don't want to wake up. But there's a secret here. The more the light is denied, the stronger it returns. And the moment arrives when no one can pretend not to see anymore. We're at that point. Nothing can be hidden anymore. Not the systems, not the intentions, not the internal lies. The truth, naked and alive, is piercing every human structure. And that hurts because the truth doesn't ask permission. This collective purification is like a fever. When the body is sick, the temperature rises to burn away what is impure. The earth is feverish, and each human being is a cell reacting. Some bodies withstand the heat, others collapse, but the process is the same. Purification. Wars, conflicts, violence. All these are symptoms of a system that can no longer bear its own density. But amidst this fire, seeds are sprouting. Children are being born with ancient gazes. People are awakening with gifts we once called miracles. Souls are reuniting. The darkness makes noise, but the light works in silence. And while everyone looks at the chaos, the light grows within, invisible and serene. There is no one in control of this. No government, no technology, no savior. Planetary consciousness itself is what guides the healing. And 3i Atlas is the catalyst, the accelerating agent. It didn't come to impose the new, but to reveal what was already ripe for birth. Fear is the last guardian of the door. When it appears, look it in the eye and say, "I know who I am." Fear dissolves when it is seen. And that is how the world changes, not through wars, but through consciousness. Each person who faces their own shadow with love liberates a fragment of all humanity. It is simple and tremendous at the same time. The war of the apocalypse has always been within us. So, if you feel the weight of these days, don't give up. The weight is a sign that you are being rebuilt. The old you is shedding its skin, and the light that enters sometimes blinds. But soon it settles, and you realize you haven't died. You've been reborn. There's no going back. The quantum shift has already begun, and what seemed like destruction is, in fact, a luminous birth. Pain is proof that life is happening. Keep breathing, keep feeling. Each tear is a release of shadow that no longer belongs to you. And when the crying ceases, when the body relaxes, there will be silence. And in that silence, you will hear what the universe has been trying to say from the beginning. You were never alone. There is a point in awakening where the body is no longer just flesh. It becomes an instrument of sound, a living harp played by invisible vibrations. Many are reaching this point without knowing it. Suddenly the heart beats differently. The touch of the sun seems more intense, and the air sometimes carries a sweet taste that no one can explain. It is the body learning to translate light into sensation. 3i Atlas brought with it a set of frequencies that teach the organism to store energy in a different way. Where before there was only blood, now a glow begins to flow. It is not a metaphor. It is the physical reminder that we were made in the image of the cosmos. And the cosmos at this moment is calling us back to that original form. People are beginning to send out signals. Sometimes when they close their eyes, they see colors moving in geometric patterns. Others feel the space expanding around them, as if they were breathing everywhere. These phenomena are not hallucinations, but the body's responses to increased vibration. This is how the light body awakens, first in the emotional field, then in the energetic field, and finally in the material field. The ancients called this ascension, but it's just a term for something natural, density becoming transparency. Every thought of peace, every choice of love opens another circuit within the human grid, and the entire planet, in this process, begins to shine at a higher frequency. That's why it's so important to take care of your body now. It's the portal that anchors you to Earth while your consciousness expands. Eat lightly, walk in the sun, touch the water with gratitude. The body feels what the spirit thinks. If you believe in fear, the body contracts. If you believe in trust, it opens. The vibration that 3i Atlas brought is clearing the internal spaces where we store pain, and the body is the first to release it. Unexplained fevers, sudden fatigue, tears for no reason. These are the keys opening old vaults. And when the pain goes away, the body begins to radiate peace, a peace that is contagious to those nearby. Many have begun to notice spontaneous healings occurring. Wounds that used to take a long time to heal, now heal quickly. Old addictions lose their power. Dark thoughts dissolve effortlessly. This is the light body operating. It is the spirit taking command of biology. The secret is not to interfere. Let the energy move. Let it do what it knows how to do. There is no more powerful technique than surrender. When you stop resisting, the light finds space to act. And the body, grateful, responds with vitality, serenity, and a strange feeling of lightness, as if the ground were softer and the air more alive. Soon you will realize the body is not a prison, but a portal. It was built to hold stars. The pain you feel is not punishment. It is expansion. With each breath, you become capable of containing more light. And the more light, the more consciousness. 3i Atlas brought the reminder that the divine is not above, it is within. And the flesh, which fear taught us to despise, is the chalice where the infinite manifests. Take care of it as you would the most sacred temple in the universe, because that is exactly what you are. What is happening above us is merely a reflection of what happens within. The outer sky and the inner sky are the same mirror, seen from different angles. When 3i Atlas approached the sun, one part of humanity looked outward, fearing an impact. The other looked inward and felt an awakening. It is within that quantum shift truly occurs. The human mind, accustomed to division, now begins to merge with the heart. And when this union occurs, something miraculous is born. Luminous silence, the space where the entire cosmos fits. This space isn't distant. It opens up when you stop running. When you accept what you feel without judgment, the sky is reflected within your chest. And then the stars, those that seem so far away, begin to whisper. They say they've always been here, watching, cheering, loving. The 3i Atlas is the living reminder of this connection. It's the symbol that the universe isn't indifferent. It participates, it intervenes, it educates, it awakens. But to perceive this, you need to be still. The noise of the world is merely the dust raised by the fear of transformation. Peace is the true sound of the cosmos. Have you noticed how time feels different? The hours slip by like lukewarm water. The days seem short, but the emotions are profound. This happens because your inner sky is expanding. Space-time within you dilates to accommodate the new. Things that once required effort are now resolved with a thought. It's synchronicity, the way the universe confirms you're in the flow. As the vibration rises, the separation between thought and reality diminishes. That's why attention is now power. What you think, feel, and say immediately creates around you. The new energy doesn't distinguish between desire and fear. It manifests what it finds. This is the responsibility of awakening, to realize that the sky that changes is the same one you create. If you think of destruction, the sky responds with storms. If you think of healing, it responds with rainbows. The universe is neutral, but deeply sensitive to the tone of the human heart. The 3i Atlas acts as a lens that amplifies this. It captures the emotional frequencies of humanity and returns them multiplied. That is why extremes now seem stronger. Both pain and love are more intense. The cosmic mirror is teaching us to consciously choose what we want to see reflected. So close your eyes and look at your own sky. There are entire constellations hidden within, formed by all the people you have loved and all the versions of yourself that have ever lived. Breathe and feel them shine. Each memory is a star, each forgiveness, a sunrise. And when the world seems too dark, remember, the inner sky never fades. It is eternity pulsing deep within your being. And the three-eye Atlas, traveling among the stars, is merely the physical reminder of this invisible truth, that infinity, in fact, has always resided within you. There are sounds that don't pass through the ear, only through the heart. Since Three-Eye Atlas crossed space, one of them has been echoing within millions of people. It's a subtle hum, a sweet and steady vibration that seems to come from afar, but is born from within. It's the sound of the universe aligning with its own creation. The ancients called it the Song of the Spheres, and said that when it was heard again, the earth would begin its ascension. This sound is not made of notes but of light, and it spreads through thoughts, emotions, and breaths. Every time you choose love, the echo grows. Every time you surrender to peace, the melody strengthens. This is how the song of the new earth is being composed, by millions of hearts awakening together. The Three-Eye Atlas is like the silent conductor of this cosmic concert. It positions itself before the sun, and with its presence, redirects energy flows that travel through the lines of space. These waves touch the magnetosphere, enter the atmosphere, and reach the biological rhythm of every living being. That's why birds change routes, why flowers bloom out of season, why people dream of light. Everything responds to the same vibration. The earth is being tuned, and humankind, even if it doesn't realize it, is being tuned along with it. Those who resist harmony feel noise, pain, confusion. Those who allow themselves to dance without knowing why. The difference between chaos and grace is only the degree of surrender. When the stars sing, it's not the sound that matters. It's the meaning. Each pulse is a message, a reminder that everything vibrates together. And now, this music has become audible on the human plane. It's not uncommon to hear someone say they feel pressure in their ears, heart palpitations, or sounds from another dimension. These are the notes of awakening. These are the stars calling their children back to the chorus of creation. What was noise becomes rhythm. What was fear becomes measure. Earth is not in danger. It is in the process of intoning the melody that has always been written in its core. Three-Eye Atlas, as a messenger, has only released the first note. You can perceive this sound when the world around you is silent, at dawn, when the air has not yet been polluted by words, or at night, when everyone sleeps and the sky seems to breathe. Close your eyes and listen. It's not outside, it's inside. The universe communicates through the frequency of stillness. It doesn't shout, it vibrates. And when you align yourself with that vibration, everything that is confusing dissolves, because truth doesn't need to be understood, only felt. This is the new language of the cosmos, and it is being written within you. And when the echo of the stars becomes constant, when the inner silence begins to sing, you will understand the reason for all of this. The comet, the sun, the awakening, the pains, the changes. It's all part of the same symphony. The universe isn't trying to scare you, it's trying to tune you. Because the earth will be once again a perfect note in the song of infinity. And each of us is an instrument, a string vibrating in the divine orchestra. Since the beginning of time, an invisible fabric has separated the material world from the subtle dimensions. We call this fabric the veil. It is the boundary between the visible and the invisible, between the body and the spirit, between the now and the eternal. For millennia, humankind lived without remembering what lay on the other side. But Three-Eye Atlas brought with it a radiation that is beginning to make this veil translucent. The boundaries are dissolving. What was once a dream is becoming reality. What was mystery, experience. That is why there are so many reports of visions, synchronicities, improbable encounters, and impossible coincidences. The veil is tearing, not violently, but like childbirth. This tearing apart isn't something you see, it's something you feel. You perceive time bending, days blending together, the line between past and future disappearing. Sometimes you think of someone and that person calls. They ask for a sign, and the sign appears. The universe begins to respond with startling speed. This is the veil thinning. The distance between thought and manifestation is shortening because the Earth's energy field is less dense. Three-Eye Atlas acts as a catalyst, accelerating the exchange between planes. Worlds are touching, and when two worlds touch, the impossible ceases to exist. But not everyone copes well with this. When the invisible approaches, fear grows. The mind, accustomed to control, tries to deny what it feels. Reason struggles against the mystery, and the internal conflict becomes palpable. Nightmares, palpitations, crises of faith, these are symptoms of the soul trying to cross the veil. The crossing hurts because it implies symbolic death, dying to the old self, to old certainties. It is the most delicate moment of the journey, the one in which the human being must choose between continuing to sleep or awakening completely. The universe never forces, it only invites. Those who accept the invitation begin to perceive a new order forming. The senses sharpen, intuition becomes clear, and time expands. Answers arrive before questions. Life becomes a dialogue. It is the beginning of coexistence between worlds. And this changes everything, not only perception, but the structure of reality. When the veil dissolves, humankind once again converses with the divine in direct language. It is as if heaven and earth were kissing again. And this is the true quantum shift, the reunion of planes. Earth is becoming a conscious planet, and humankind, an interdimensional being. Everything that was once a miracle will become commonplace. Light will pass through walls and love will cross distances. And when the last fragment of the veil falls, 3i Atlas will continue its journey, leaving behind what it came to awaken, a humanity that finally remembers where it came from and where it is returning. There is something within us that has never forgotten. Even before we learned to speak, before stories and religions, there was a memory hidden behind our eyes, a feeling that we didn't belong only to this world. It is this memory that is beginning to ignite now, like ancient embers fanned by a new wind. The 3i Atlas, in traversing space, brought with it the necessary spark to reanimate humanity's cosmic memory. That is why so many dream of lights, hear their names in the wind, feel longing for a place they cannot describe. It is the spiritual DNA being reactivated, the forgotten pages of the soul's book being opened one by one. The ancients called this the call of origin. It's when the being realizes that its story didn't begin at birth and won't end at death, that each life was just a chapter, and that all the chapters together form a single, expanding being. The 3i Atlas touches the subtle network that connects these fragments and in doing so, awakens memories of other worlds. Sirius, the Pleiades, Orion, civilizations that walked before us and left seeds within our blood. These aren't fairy tales. They are echoes of home. And when the comet of light passes, these echoes transform into voices. The soul then remembers who it always was, a traveler of the stars clothed in flesh. And that is why the entire planet is feeling nostalgia. Not for childhood, not for the past, but for the infinite. The melancholy that many feel is the harbinger of reunion. The heart recognizes the frequency of home and, for the first time in millennia, begins to beat again in the same rhythm as creation. 3i Atlas does not bring new energy. It awakens the old energy that was dormant. It is we who shine again. That is why some look to the sky and cry without knowing why. It is the memory of original love, the love that existed before the separation between light and matter, before the solitude of being human. This remembrance comes with responsibility. To remember is also to awaken to purpose. Who are we, if not bridges between worlds? If not bearers of a stellar heritage that cries out for expression? 3i Atlas rekindles this mission. It shows us that every gesture, every word, every thought shapes the frequency of the earth. What we do echoes between galaxies, and what we heal within ourselves heals entire civilizations. It is time to honor this power, not as vanity, but as service. The universe needs conscious beings, not blind believers. And when the veil of amnesia finally falls, you will remember. You will remember that love is a physical force, that compassion is advanced technology, that peace is the highest vibration in the cosmos. You will remember that you have been in worlds where no one lied, because the light revealed everything. You will remember that fear is just a shadow of something that has already been forgotten. And above all, you will remember that the return to the stars is not a journey, it is a memory. 3i Atlas only lit the lantern. The path, in truth, has always been within you. As the light expands, ancient forces writhe to avoid dying. This is the silent war unfolding now, not between nations but between vibrations. Entropy, accustomed to ruling through fear, feels threatened, and so it manipulates, distorts, confuses. The shadows try to make it seem as if nothing is happening, or that it's all madness. But what is truly at stake is the dominion of perception. Whoever controls what man sees, controls what he believes. 3i Atlas burns away this veil of control. That's why there is so much resistance, because the light unmasks, and dark power thrives on disguise. It is no coincidence that the world's structures seem to be crumbling. They were built on fear, and fear cannot withstand the light. Entire systems are dissolving, not through human revolutions, but through vibrational collapse. Truth is corroding lies from within, and this is what many call chaos. But chaos is merely the birth of clarity. The invisible war is actually a process of revelation. Everything that was hidden is coming to light to be purified. It is the end of the empire of shadow, which has fed on human unconsciousness for centuries. Some feel this battle within themselves. They oscillate between hope and despair, between faith and doubt, between love and anger. It's normal. The war outside is a reflection of the internal war. Every time you choose not to react to fear, you win a cosmic battle. Every time you choose forgiveness instead of revenge, the planetary field rises. The shadow tries to convince you that it is small, powerless, but that's a lie. A single awakened heart weighs more than an army of sleeping minds. And that's what 3i Atlas came to remind us. Power lies not in who shouts the loudest, but in who vibrates the highest. Light doesn't fight, it simply exists. And where it exists, the shadow disappears. That is true victory. Therefore, don't engage in pointless disputes, in arguments about who is right. The world is full of voices that only repeat the noise of confusion. Truth doesn't need to defend itself because it is the very ground itself. The invisible war ends the moment you choose not to fight. 3i Atlas is the standard of this luminous surrender, the courage to shine without needing to defeat anyone. When silence settles after the storm, only what is real will remain, and what is real never fears the light. So when you feel the weight of chaos, don't fight it. Just close your eyes and say, I choose the frequency of peace. That phrase is a sword of fire that cuts through the invisible, and what comes after it will be the new world opening up. Because war doesn't end with destruction, it ends with awareness. And awareness now is winning. The time for judgment has arrived, but not the judgment that fear taught. There is no court, no punishment, no heaven and hell. There is vibration, and each being is being measured not by their words, but by the frequency of what they carry in their heart. 3i Atlas brought the pulse that activates this silent screening. Since its approach, Earth has been emitting resonance waves that touch every soul, revealing where it vibrates. It is an examination of light. No one administers it. It simply happens, and the result shows itself in sensations. Those who are at peace feel light. Those who still resist feel heavy. The universe does not punish. It only reflects. This is the true judgment, the reflection. When the sun receives the codes from the conscious comet and returns a new spectrum of light to Earth, everything we are is placed before ourselves. Lies unravel, fears are revealed, attachments are loosened. That's why so much seems to collapse. It's not punishment, it's rebalancing. The Earth's vibration is rising, and only what matches that frequency remains. Everything you can't keep up with, ideas, structures, emotions, dissolves. Each day, the planet divides into two rhythms, the rhythm of pain and the rhythm of light. The choice is intimate, silent, and inevitable. The ancient prophets foresaw this time and called it the separation of lineages, not of races or peoples, but of consciousnesses. Souls ready for the new cycle feel a call of hope, even amidst the chaos. Others, still trapped in density, seek control and explanations. But none will be forgotten. Universal love abandons no one. It only respects the rhythm of each one. Some ascend now, others will need another cycle. The 3i Atlas came to ignite this sorting, and its light, invisible to the eyes, touches the interior of all hearts. And what shines remains. What fades, rests to begin again. The Earth at this moment is a mirror of transition. Magnetism moves, tides change, dreams intensify. Each person feels according to what they are. Some cry, others laugh, others simply remain silent. But all this is part of the same process. Humanity crossing the portal that separates linear time from expanded consciousness. When the veil completely dissolves, those who are ready will see the world with new eyes. There will be no need for temples because the temple will be the body. There will be no intermediaries because each being will hear their own soul. And on that day we will understand that judgment has always been merely a mirror. There are no rewards, no punishments. There is vibration, and each vibration finds its natural home. The souls that choose love will naturally ascend to the new earth, not by miracle, but by attunement. Those that choose fear will continue in cycles of learning until they understand that fear does not protect, it imprisons. And 3i Atlas will continue its path, like a silent teacher who leaves the room after completing their lesson. The vibrational judgment is not the end. It is the beginning of consciousness, and when it ends, humanity will finally know who it truly is. Light that has learned to recognize itself in the shadow. Everything that is happening now is a birth. The earth is breathing in contractions of light, and each human being is a cell in this body that is remaking itself. That is why it hurts. That is why it is tiring. That is why it is moving. We are witnessing the birth of the new world, not in the distant stars, but here, on the ground we walk on. 3i Atlas, the interstellar messenger, came only to announce what was already written in the winds of time. Humanity has reached the point of choice, and it has chosen to change. The old system, which lived on control and fear, can no longer sustain the weight of the light. The new vibration is gentle, but firm. It does not invade, it replaces. And whatever is love will flourish. A serenity is arriving. After the storm of revelations, a different kind of silence will begin to envelop the planet. It is the interval between the last pain and the first breath of the new. There will be a time when many will feel that something has ended, but they will not know what. It is the soul recognizing the closing of a cosmic cycle. The 3i Atlas will already be distant, following its path of light, but what it left behind will remain. An earth vibrating higher, clearer, more alive. There will be no clarions or explosions. There will be a dawn, and those who have eyes to feel will see the sky breathe like a heart. In this new dawn, divisions will dissolve. Man will understand that there is no us and them. There is only consciousness in varying degrees of remembrance. The Draconians, once seen as enemies, will be understood as brothers in learning. The Federation of Light, not as gods, but as older companions on the path of evolution. Everything that seemed distant will become near, and what seemed impossible, natural. The cosmos will cease to be a mystery and will become family. This is the true ascension, the remembrance of unity. And you, who have read, heard, and felt every word, will realize that something has changed within. 3i Atlas didn't pass through space, it passed through you. And the quantum shift that everyone expected happened in the most intimate place possible, the human heart. The vibration that now runs through your veins is that of the universe in celebration. Fear has lost its language, guilt has lost its meaning, and love finally has found a home. All that remains is to care for the newborn light, within yourself and all around you. Now close your eyes. Feel the silence between your heartbeats. That interval is the portal. It is there that the new world begins to breathe. 3i Atlas has already fulfilled its role. Now it's your turn to continue the work. Earth doesn't need to be saved. It needs to be remembered. And you are one of the living memories of that remembrance. If you felt this resonate within you, subscribe to the channel. Leave a like and write in the comments, "I feel the vibration."